Hello and welcome to Seedy Location. In this exciting episode, we're going to be going over the Netrunner reboot I've been doing. Although I should say Android LCG reboot because, yeah, Netrunner's dead. Long live Netrunner. Now, I've made a few changes. Most notably would be meat running. There's also some other subtle differences that this brings as well. If you've watched previous videos, they'll go over them, but just in case, I'll go over them again. While there is also meat running, there is also a meat space. So things on the runner side tend to be more meat space based, and things on the corporate side tend to be net based. The idea being that if you access stuff, well, not access stuff, if you do stuff in meat space, you're exposing them, and there'll be certain cards that are weak against that. There'll be certain cards that are weak against being accessed in thus net space. For example, the reason behind it, the story theme would be that if you expose an operation, an operation will be susceptible to that. Oh, they're doing this in real life. Watch out for them beating up people or doing meat damage, or watch out for grey ops specifically. These things are affecting you. Whereas if you was to expose some computer program, the common rank and file won't get that. Most people don't understand there's a computer program that does this shady thing and moves money slightly. Yeah, but that's what happens, always happens. That's what banks do, and that's what corporations do. No one really cares. But if you access it, then that's different, because if you have access to it, then you can use it. That makes it dangerous, that gives it power. And that's the idea. There's some things that you need to get your actual hands on, and there are some things that people need to be aware of. If you just have access to the operation, great, then you could tell a company to go beat someone up. But you don't want to get beaten, because you're most like the person that would be beaten up by this, so it doesn't make any difference. And that's the idea behind that. The next thing I'd like to talk to you about is some of the cards now. We're going to start with a runner card so I can demonstrate some of the things I'd like to do with the cards and so on and so forth. In this case, I'd like to codify some of the things. As you can see on this card, you've got a symbol and then you've got some highlighted text. The idea being that we've got on the original ones, you've got like a click symbol followed by what you do. So I was thinking, why can't we have an on access symbol or on successful run symbol and so on and so forth, or on trashed? The idea being that we can codify a lot of these things and save on card space, and ideally I'd want to have add more flavor to cards by having like Jinteki cards printed in Japanese, Aspired cards printed in German, but you still understand what the card does because of all these symbols on it. Also, I think it'd look really cool with all this, like it's in some kind of special code, so it looks like you're reading code, hence Netrunner. But again, I'd have to work on this a lot more, and I can just about barely get it out right now. So I'm gonna keep on trying. So onto the corporate cards we're going to start with first. As you can see from the color pie here, you can see how each faction is going to behave. I realized that this first card coming up is a winning card, and it's misnamed. It's supposed to be something completely different. Its name is supposed to be dedicated assault team, not dedicated response team, not Shimon from Rimwolf like it's on here. But as you can see, that when this card is exposed, you're supposed to have to do a bit of whether you take a meat damage or not. The idea being lore-wise that if you actually run into these guys, well, they might hit you. You can say, oh, Wayland's got a dedicated assault team. Yeah, don't mess around with them. Their job is just to get people. Now, the first time each turn a card is exposed, they're going to come and get you. And if the runner is feigned, or that means that they have 5 cards or more, then you can do a click and a credit and you can just deal them with meat damage. The idea is that, oh, this guy's really famous, let's just beat him up and just try and extort some stuff out of him. Just, yeah, Whalen knows who you are because you've got all these people around you. So, yeah, of course they're going to be able to find you. Of course they're going to be able to get you. And it's just basically a way of dealing with people with way too many cards. So you can soften them up for a kill, but you'll still have 5 cards, well, 4 cards after this is done. So it's just a tech card. It's just something you can do. Side note, it's also got a high res cost and a high trash cost, so that's the part of the color pie thing here. Now here's actual shipment from Mirrormorph, a redesigned. It's now a current, and the idea is that the first time you install something, you can install one more thing, and I think that's a very powerful ability, hence the high price. But that sounds like a very HB thing. It's very efficient. You pay 4 and they can just quickly install stuff, and yes, it lends to asset spam, but you're going to have to deal with asset spam a lot easier here. Whalen, well, sorry, Hasbauer is going to be the asset spammy thing, but the idea is also that these corporations are going to be able to work together. So, for example, most of these operations are going to have things where if you expose them, there's going to be a benefit. I don't think I've put one on this card, but I might, for example, put something like, if this operation is exposed, the runner gains 5 credits, or 3 credits, or credit and draws a card. That makes it very dangerous to have these in your hand. But as you can see, the effect is really good, so I think the exposure on that is going to have to be very high. Anyway, now we're on to the runner side. Now I'm going to be showing you the runner card I showed you in the beginning, but this time I'm actually going to talk about the actual card and not just the codifying thing I talked about before. That card was, what was that card called again? Let's bring it up. Oh, that was it. Making connections. So the idea behind this card is that shapers are going to be famed, or they're going to have lots of cards in hand because they're going to have 40 answers. But again, the thing is that when you reach famed, or that means 5 cards or more, this card is going to draw 1 more card and then trash itself. So it's just the shapers are going to have all the draw tech, and they're going to have bonus effects when they've got more cards in hand. And that's the way that all these runner cards are designed. So Anarch cards are designed to work best when you've got 1 or no cards in hand, and they're designed to be very mid-gamey type cards to play mid-game, late-game. But basically, you get bonuses when you have low cards with Anarch, like bonuses when you have high cards with Shaper, bonuses with like about 2 to 4 cards with Criminal, and there's going to be lots of early game bonuses as well. I don't know if I've got them on here. No, it was on the last video. But either way, we've got a card here from Anarch to deal with the asset spam, and that's Rolling Thunder. So as you can see here, this card just crashes everything in a server. But if you have, let me see, I think if you're cornered, or is it poor? Unfortunately, my eyesight fails me. But basically, if you're cornered or you're poor, you can do the effect again. Thus, you can trash 2 whole servers and just wipe them out completely. Thus, you're going to want to be playing on the edge here. You're going to be wanting to keep low amount of cards, keep a low amount of credits, just so you can get all these added benefits of repeatedly playing cards over and over again without having to pay their costs again. And there's another part here about encrypting and encoding, and that's the corporation thing about instead of just advancing, you can now advance by discarding cards or paying credits. Oh yes, finally a criminal card here. Blue level clearance. Now, as I said, you're going to be meat running, and you're going to be doing bit bidding. There was a video about this before where you can do you bit 1 or 0, and there'll be a number, and then like you both do this, and if they match, then you can skip the effects. If not, you get hit by the effects, like dedicated assault team, where you had to bid over a meat damage every time you accessed it or you meat ran on it. This would let you skip that. There's also going to be other effects that let you access exposed cards. So you get there in the real world, but now not only do you, but instead of just like telling everyone about it, you say, no, you know what? I'm going to grab it in real life. You're going to need like clearance cards to do that. Like clearance cards will let you skip meat run encounters and also let you access stuff you expose. I hope that this has been helpful. I'm going to try and make some cards, get some decks together, and pop a video about this. You'll also see this decrypting and coding mechanic, where again you use cards or credits, and then the runner is forced to pay cards or credits to steal stuff, and it also takes up MU and whatnot. I think it'd be really good for the game. Well, till next time, bye.